Now, Chicano originally starts out as a derogatory word in the early 20th century, sort of equivalent to the N bomb as used against African Americans. Um, and then in the 60s, it is reappropriated, okay, by Mexican American activists, or now calling themselves Chicano activists, right? And so Chicano, there was a Chicano power movement in the 1960s, just like there was a Black Power movement, just like there was a women's power movement, right? And so that's where she sort of comes from, and that's where she gets, she's using a lot of her ideas, this idea of Chicano. And so this is basically saying, hey, you use this term in a derogatory way, we're now going to turn it into a positive thing, right? This is what it stands for. It stands for basically this borderlands experience, right? We're neither Spanish, nor Indian, nor, American. We're all three, okay? And it's mixed, it's hybrid, right? It's a mutation, but there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, we're going to, take off with it and move it, right? So that's, the use of the word and why she's using it, right? And I think the word Chicano with an X is probably, a better way to do it, or that's probably what they'll go to eventually. So the word went out of, in the 80s, right? It started to um, go out of sort of fad or trendiness, right? And it was replaced by Hispanic and Latino, right? Uh, when there was a less radical sort of, Mexican American sort of movement going on, but it seems to be coming back now. And finally, from the Holocaust to the Conquista cost, if that works. So the Du Bois is talking about uh, genocidal slavery, right? This Holocaust, right, of of being forced to work as a slave in the United States, and so what is equal to Franz will do is the idea of the conquista, which I mentioned, right? So this was the Spanish uh, takeover of the Americas, right? And this was equally horrific, okay? Uh, and then she's also going to talk about the American conquista too, which is when the American government in the 19th century takes over what is now the American Southwest, which formerly belonged to Mexico.